Hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily for the week of April 2nd. Coming on to good old fourth month of the year. Here we are. Finally out there. As you can see, we have some great weather. So I'm finally back out here doing some training stuff. I'm walking along Bear Creek White Slough on what is basically a pedestrian path on the Atherton levee. And having a good time. So welcome to, I think this is number 14 for Hiker Homily, and let's jump into it. So this week's hiker topic is going to be dogs on the trail. I know a little while ago I covered kids on the trail, and no insult to kids, I've got a couple of my own. Dogs on the trail and kids on the trail have some of the same kind of issues and divide the hiker community in sometimes the same way. Oh my. Sometimes dogs on the trail will go quite out. It's more divisive, I think, than kids on the trail, because there's a lot of hikers out there that, they don't have kids, they're not complete fans of hanging around with kids, but they get why people want to, get the younger generation interested in hiking. Why would they not? So, full disclosure, I'm a dog owner. I love my dogs. Currently, both our dogs are shelter rescues. They're fantastic poochers. They're part of the family. Love these guys. They're awesome. But I would not bring them on the trail because I know my dogs. Number one, they're both smaller dogs, so they're not really up for higher miles. I mean, probably more than a mile or two would be too much for them. Number two, especially one of them has a temperament that he's not dangerous. He doesn't go after people and stuff. In fact, it's the opposite. He is terrified of anyone who is not immediately in the family. He gets so scared. He tucks the tail. He wants to climb up on top of me. The poor little guy, I don't know what happened to him before he was rescued and stuff like that, but he is absolutely just, people in the family. He loves us. He hangs out with us. He's a great little lap dog. He'll sit right next to you on the chairs and things like that. But you take him out for a walk, if any other kind of people show up, he just freaks out. He starts, dragging. He doesn't want to get near the people. Yeah, so that's just not going to work on a trail and stuff like that. And so with those issues right there, like I said, it's kind of similar to the kid thing. Dogs on the trail are not one of those things because I'll try and finish my train of thought first before I go into this little rant about some of the arrogant idiots you see online, or just ignorant people you see online who do things. But you have to know your dog, okay? That's the key thing. You can't just, heck with it, I'm going to do it. All right, because there are people out there. You're going to see them in the online hiker community, and sometimes you meet them on the trail and stuff like that. They use the magic word, hike your own hike, hi-yo, and somehow that means do anything you freaking want. And that is, again, I'm going to go on a whole rant in a completely separate thing one of these times, specifically about hi-yo, more than I already did once, because it's absolutely ridiculous. The stupid things people use that for, and I'm sorry that this is not a case for the use of hike your own hike. It isn't. Many trails have rules about dogs. There are many wilderness areas or nature preserves and things where dogs are not allowed. And so no, don't hike your own hike. And if that means, man, you want to bring your dog, the heck with the man. Stick it to the man. Go ahead and bring your dog. Okay? They act like these rules get made specifically because, we just don't like you. You, sir, who love your dog and want to hike with them, we don't like you, period. You personally, we're against you, and so we made this rule of no dogs in the thing. No, they've made the rule because dogs can damage an area, okay? If you don't control your dog and he goes out and kills a rare animal, like out here, the riparian brush rabbit, endangered species and things like that, you're damaging the ecosystem. There's all kinds of things. And of course the defense that they all want to throw up there, my dog wouldn't do that. He's totally understands he's well behaved. Hey, that's great. But see, the rule isn't for your dog. The rule is for all dogs. Because unfortunately, you live in a world where there are people who think their animal is the best freaking dog in the world and totally best behaved, but they're not. They're freaking idiot dogs, and of course there's always the excuse when the dog bites someone or does something dumb or tears into something, goes after an animal. That's weird, he's never done that before. Oh, too bad. He's doing it now, and that's why the rules are there. And so I'm sorry that it sucks that way, but that's just how it is. Hike your own hike doesn't mean screw it, I'm going to bring my dog places where he is not allowed by law. So there's that right there. And again, we get into that whole point where some people, they just think their dogs are great and stuff like that, but not everybody is a dog person. I run into dogs all the time when I'm out here hiking on the levee roads and stuff like that, that come running at me. Now, fortunately, because I am a dog person, I've had dogs my whole life, I can kind of read dog body language. I can see the tail position, the ear position, you know, the kind of way they're trotting at you and stuff like that, that, okay, this is a friendly dog coming to say hello, as opposed to this is a dog that's alerted, scared, he's protecting his master, or perceives me as a threat and is coming to get me and stuff like that. The only problem, the thing is that there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to do that. They don't own dogs, or if they have, they aren't in tune with that kind of thing, and so they just see a dog running at them and they freak out, and them freaking out will put the dog on alert maybe and create problems. Next thing you know, you've got an altercation between another person and your dog. So that's why there's things like leash laws and stuff like that. But it happens all the time. There's people out there, and they're just, because they're dog people, and they don't, oh, my dog doesn't bite anybody, so I'm just going to let him run at people. And I'm going to shout at him sometimes, oh, he's friendly, don't worry about that. That doesn't help the person who may have a fear of dogs. You don't know. And so that's the thing, is as long as people are out there doing that, and if they're going to do them on the other trails, this is why we have rules, and this is, again, why there are people in the hiking community that are like, no, don't bring your dogs on the trail. And if you are going to bring your dogs on the trail, don't freaking turn them loose. You keep them on a leash. And a lot of dog owners, they don't like to do that. They want the dog to have fun and run around and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, dogs on the trail. My personal opinion, where they are allowed and you know how to handle your dog, absolutely. Go for it. I love dogs. Dogs are great. If I had a large dog that could handle longer trails and stuff like that, I would find places where I could go with him or her, and they would be with me on the trail, because dogs are my buddies. I love them. They're fantastic. Now, even if I did have a large dog, or even these little guys on some of the shorter trails I go on and stuff like that, a lot of them are, there's no dogs allowed, no pets allowed, period. So I don't bring them. I just don't, you know. As much as they're my pals, my buddies, they hang out with me, they can't go on these trails, so I'm not going to bring them. Okay, just not going to, no matter how friendly they are. And I know, like the second dog, Mickey, friendly little thing. He loves people, loves to get petted by people and greet people and all that kind of stuff. And he's a little dude, so he's not too threatening and stuff like that. That doesn't matter, you know. Where I could bring him, he's going to be on a leash, and he's not going to get to jump at people and things like that to get pets and things. I will let them approach if they want to, and he's not going to go on the longer trails with me. But yeah, he's not going to go in the places where he's not allowed, no matter how good trained he is and how friendly he is. No. And that's really the big thing, is number one, know your dog, control your dog, and that means have them on a leash and things like that. And where they are not allowed, which are many places in certain parks and things like that, some of the long trails go through state parks, national parks, and things like that. They're not allowed there, so don't bring them. Sorry. And like I say, there's people out there right now, I will bring them if I want to. Whatever. You know, if that's the kind of person you want to be, go ahead. That's not my thing. I don't care. I just know that I don't see the rules as a personal thing. They're not made to personally bug me, and they're not made by the man just doing it randomly, just to F with people, okay? That's not why most rules are. And I'll 100% go with you and say, yes, some rules are there because of that. They're just petty, stupid, or they're outmoded old rules that they really aren't relevant anymore in today's society. We don't need to do that anymore and stuff like that. But there's plenty of them. The majority of them, they're there for a reason, and the reason isn't just to bug you personally. The reason is because everybody has to enjoy the trails, and there are people out there who will not be able to enjoy the trails if your dog is running around on them. Because they don't know if that dog is friendly. They don't know your dog, and you shouting at them, "Oh, he's friendly," as the dog is running right at them. That doesn't help them in any way, shape, or form. And if your attitude is, well, that's their problem for not being dog people, F them, that your attitude is the wrong one. I'm just telling you. That's, you're part of the problem. You're not fixing anything. That doesn't make you a cool person or an awesome person. It makes you a jerk. So there it is. So I did want to end on a better note than that, because like I say, dogs are awesome. I love dogs, and there are places they can go. And so where they're allowed, go for it. Dogs in the trail, yes, do it. Where they're not allowed, don't. Just don't. Just get over the fact that that's just the rule, and hike without your dogs at that point, or don't hike there at all. That's fine too. That's how you want to handle it. Advantages of dogs being on the trail with you, especially on overnights and stuff like that. They have companionship. They can help keep you warm at night. If you have them in the tent with you, sometimes I know a lot of folks carry an extra little tiny tent for their dog and things like that. They are a little extra security system. Even animals like bears will think twice about coming into a camp if they know that there's a dog there. They scent a dog or hear a dog and things like that. And so, they'll back off. So even the larger predators might do that. So they're a good early warning system. They're a good little extra security. They help vermin stay out of the campsite and things. So there's a lot of advantages to having dogs on the trail and stuff like that. So where they are allowed, go for it, absolutely for it. And that's really the thing. Like I say, though, that you see this come up online, and flat out arguments get thrown at each other, and just, again, it's the whole hike your own hike being used in the wrong way. People will online scream in all cap titsy fits about how, if I want to bring my dog, I would blah 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 blah. Or, and other people, oh, you're such a jerk for not bringing the dog, for bringing your dogs, and blah blah blah. Don't you care about other? And it just turns into this ridiculousness. When really it should just be common sense. Get over yourself, and follow the rules. And where dogs are allowed, hike with your dog. Where they're not allowed, don't hike with your dog. And that should be the end of the story. Unfortunately, human nature, and some people have a more of a sour nature, and I want to do what I want to do, and they just assume that if it's a law made by a government, then automatically it's bad and should be fought against. I don't know. I'm sure they have reasons for believing that. They were probably abused in some point by the system, and so to them the logic kind of got broken, and so everything from the system is bad. This one part of the system screwed me over, and so the whole system, no matter what it's about, no matter what section it's taking, that's bad, and I'm against it. And it kind of sucks that there are people out there like that, because that means that somehow the system did fail them and abuse them, and that's wrong, and that's unfortunately, that is a systemic problem. But unfortunately, that spreads out into other stuff. And it kind of sucks that way, that, because this screwed me over here, I'm going to be a jerk about it. And it's kind of a bummer. And like I say, it's kind of a logic fail to me, that I was screwed over by such and such government on this particular thing that's a bunch of baloney. And so that means a completely unrelated thing, like bringing my dogs on the trail and stuff like that, I'm not going to follow the rules. Because the rules fooled me once, and so I'm going to, do it my way, this way, for all rules. Doesn't make sense to me. It's illogical to me. But like I say, there's reasons for it. People get that way because at some point, somewhere, a system abused them, and it's kind of a bummer. So that's our thing. That's the hiker topic for this week. Dogs on the trail. Bottom line, where they're allowed, go for it. Where they're not allowed, please don't. And when you do go for it, please follow the proper rules there. Just don't turn them loose and let them go bananas. Keep them with you. Hopefully your dog is trained well enough. Hopefully they get along well with other dogs. They get along well with other people. And And that's when they really, cool, go for it, put them on the trail, have a great time, and things like that. So there it is with that. That's Hiker Homily for the week of April 2nd. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend. I did, and also a good April Fool's Day. There was some good stuff online. Some of our hiking community has a really great sense of humor. Some of the April Fool's stuff that was out there was great, a lot of fun. And that's about it. I think we'll cut it off here, and basically thanks all of you for watching. As always, I always want to say thank you because I really do appreciate, no matter what my numbers are on various things. Instagram, I think, is where I have the most subscribers or followers, and then I have a decent amount of people on Facebook following, and then here on YouTube, slightly smaller number, but I appreciate every single one of you, no matter what venue you're watching me on or contacting me on. Appreciate it so much. So I always want to say thank you, and that's about it. So we will see you next week.